All right. If I count us in, you're going to be good?
Yeah.
All right. I am going to do that right now. Starting in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for August 7th, 2023 for the next hour or so. Let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, we have lots of news out of EVO, and Rockstar finally confirmed some recent links out of its studio. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Lex Luddy, everybody. Lexi, how are you doing?
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Is Seinfeld, is that the one that like crosses generational, or is it still Friends?
No, it's mainly Friends, but
Yeah.
I'm an ancient person living in a young person's body.
Okay.
So I do appreciate Seinfeld more than anyone else my age. No one else my age knows what Seinfeld is, though.
Nah, give it time. Give it time.
Yeah.
It gets everybody in the end. Yeah, but I have a lot of problem with you people is always in my head. I'm always just kind of saying that. Absolutely. I don't know about how you been. You have a good weekend? You get any time to play any games? You playing that Baldur's Gate 3? I see all the kids are playing Baldur's Gate 3.
I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. My current playtime on my Steam Deck apparently is about 20 hours, but then my save file is only about 10 hours because I've been save scumming so much. And the load times are so bad on Steam Deck. I also have a fun story about Giant Bomb related content in the physical sense. When I finished my work placement at The Gamer, I bought myself some fine Giant Bomb merchandise store.giantbomb.com.
Sure.
And I had it accidentally posted to my apartment that I was moving out of.
Oh, yeah, that old move. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tried to get it redirected. But that was right around the time that when Roy was leaving and also you were changing over merchandise partners.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, grand, that's fine. They'll hold on to it for me. They're like nice enough people. And I sent them an email and they're like, yeah, we'll hold whatever package arrives. I get an email in May saying, oh, your package has arrived. I finally got back up to my apartment last week and I arrived there. And I told them, like, the package number, and they handed me an envelope. And I was like, oh, no. And the envelope said, please open immediately. And I was like, oh, no. And in it was a customs charge back from May that was like, please pay this as soon as possible, and if not, we'll send it back. So I'm willing to bet my merchandise is now with whoever your previous supplier was.
Oh, boy.
Somewhere.
Okay, well, shipping globally seems complicated. I'm glad I never have to think about that. Oh, man, that stinks.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. So I was like, man, I was on a bus for 2.5 hours to pick this up, and then I was like, why would you get a letter that says please open immediately for a tenant that has left, and then just send them an email being like, oh, you have something in the like to pick up.
Yeah,
pick it up whenever.
Just take a picture of it and send. Like, be like, this looks important. I don't know. This looks like looks like it's something you should open immediately. I don't know. Something's giving me that sense. Yeah, absolutely. That stinks. I don't know. Well, we'll get in contact with the ghost of Rory and get it figured out. Who knows? All right. That's a mess. So is this. Let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Rockstar is bringing Red Dead Redemption to modern platforms. This comes from Michael McWhorter and Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. Rockstar Games is re-releasing the original Red Dead Redemption on 2 modern platforms, giving Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 owners a chance to play the open-world Western adventure natively. Red Dead Redemption will be released digitally on Nintendo Switch and PS4 on August 17th, the developer announced Monday. A physical release is planned for October 13th. let's just start there. Lexi, you actually pinged me this morning saying, it looks like this is happening. And I'm saying, yeah, it does look like this happening. It did happen. Here we are. $50 is going to be the price. It's going to be on the eShop, the PlayStation stores. This seems like, to me, it's basically the equivalent of the backwards compatible version you could already get on Xbox, just now also on Switch and PlayStation, right?
So that was actually the thing I was going to say to you, was I did get a bit of a heads up about this morning, and what I was told is it is that version. It is them basically running the same style systems that Xbox backwards compat does, not automatically, the devs still have to do some work for it, but it's them doing that on a PlayStation and then also them porting that down for a Switch. So it is literally the same game running under the hood. I know the studio that's working on this is a British studio, and they seem to have some pretty good people there, so I'm sure it will be an okay-ish port. And it's pretty hard to mess up a port of a game this big and this, well-known at this point. It would be disastrous for Rockstar if another one of their ports was messy. Especially considering this is basically just the back compat version. Right.
This doesn't seem like what they were doing with the Grand Theft Auto games, which is like running it through a bunch of sort of shoddy, half-baked AI filters to, we're going to improve every texture in the game or whatever. Like you said, the Xbox version. This is also like, I think it's got to be a little bit of a relief for Xbox, always, frequently these days getting left out of games. Like in this case, no, it's just because you were there first and you made this easy for this game to get to this level.
It'll be cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. And it's and that's probably benefited Red Dead Redemption in terms, it seems like it's a benefit to a lot of those games that are on the backwards compat list. People go back to them, they buy them. Now this is going to be a chance to do the same thing on Nintendo and PlayStation. It's PlayStation 4, not PlayStation 5, because PlayStation 4, it's the backward compatibility there. Once you get it on PlayStation 4, it basically is a PS5 game. There's not much difference. So you might as well just put it on PS4 and get that bigger audience. And then Switch, I mean, it should run fine on Switch. This was an Xbox 360 game, right?
Yeah, and I think an OLED screen would be really interesting how it will look on that. Pop pretty nicely. I mean, it's still a really good looking game. Like, for the era, it is an incredible looking game. So it will be pushing the Switch, but I imagine at this point, everyone has had so much time working with the Switch. Like, you have to have some confidence that it will at least be 30 frames locked and probably 720p, similar to The Witcher. Like, if they could get The Witcher running, they can get this running.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one of my favorite things about the Red Dead Redemption on Xbox when they got the backward compatibility was the auto HDR. It looked really good in Red Dead Redemption. It's like, that's the thing with the Switch that still bugs me. It's like, listen, I like the OLED. Well, I love the OLED screen. I would prefer the OLED screen over HDR, but OLED and HDR, boy, I really hope the next Switch gets to there eventually. So, I mean, if you are someone who's been waiting for this and that's cool. I think there is obviously an audience out there that is being left out still, and that's PC. Red Dead Redemption never came to PC. Doesn't feel like that's going to change here, right?
Yeah, it's a weird one, because if you are doing the work, surely moving it to PC isn't as difficult as downporting it to Switch. Yeah. Unless they're running some dark magic that makes it literally impossible to get it running on a Windows machine without your laptop and computer catching fire. I have no idea if there's any problem there, or if it is simply a moral we don't want it on PC for whatever reason. But also that doesn't make sense, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is on PC.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, maybe for Red Dead Redemption, it's like their vision is this has to run at 30 frames per second. If it's any higher than that, we can't have that. And PC fans, they're going to use their sick magics to make it run faster than that. Let's see. Yes, the PS4 version of Red Dead Redemption will be playable on PlayStation 5 through backward compatibility. We talked about that, and then we talked about the Xbox ramifications. Developer Double 11 is responsible for the PS4 and Switch ports of Red Dead Redemption. Rockstar said in a news release, the studio's previous work include console versions of Minecraft Dungeons, Rust, and the Lego Harry Potter games. So
the controversial Minecraft dungeons that was discussed at the FTC trial.
That's right. Yes. Wait. How did it come up at the FTC trial? I don't remember.
They were basically the judge or the FTC were trying to prove oh, you didn't make a PlayStation 5 native version. You are obviously going to be giving. You're not going to be giving the best ports to PlayStation because you didn't do a PlayStation 5 port. You needed a PlayStation 4 port that was then backwards compatible. And all of that entire part of the trial felt a bit lost on the judge because it was so in the weeds of console terminology and trying to explain what backwards compatibility is. And then a game coming to PS4 and being playable on a PS5, but not natively playable. And it was a fucking mess. A lot of that trial was a mess when you listen to it live.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was the whole thing over there. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, my big question is, am I going to finish it this time? Because I've never finished the first one. I love Red Dead Redemption 2.
I played a lot of it.
Yeah. I adore that second game, way more than anyone else left at this website does.
Correct.
But, yeah, because it's a good game and you're all wrong.
It's a good story, maybe. I'll give you that.
It's
just not. It's you know what? It is an impressive feat. I will not deny that. At the very least, I do not enjoy playing it as a video game.
Okay, I dislike Sonic. You dislike this game.
I don't love Sonic either. So.
Yeah, I was gonna try to think of a game that I also dislike that you are way high on. I don't like Metroid. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's fair. I get that. All the kids are coming at me these days not liking Metroid. So that's because that has that you have to backtrack, right? And that's the whole thing. These days, kids they haven't played a game where you have to backtrack. This is absurd. Other than Dark Souls, I suppose.
Also, someone in chat just said, "I am the expert that you invited on today, so you're not allowed to question any of my judgment."
That's right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I've never beat Red Dead Redemption 1 either. I think I would like to someday, but the idea of doing that this year, there's no way.
Oh yeah, no way.
That's not happening. Absolutely not. Okay, let's move on here. Killer Instinct to get 10th anniversary update later this year. We're gonna have a lot more of the Evo headlines here in a second, but let's start with this one. This is from Ben Leon at Game Reactor. To mark 10 years of Killer Instinct, developer Iron Galaxy Studios has announced that it will be launching a free anniversary update later this year. The title will be getting some long-awaited features, including an actual balance patch, improved matchmaking, and even 4K support for Xbox Series X and S on the X and S consoles. Microsoft and Iron Galaxy tweeted, our friends Iron Galaxy are back, and together we're bringing you Killer Instinct's free 10th anniversary update later this year, including a balance update, blah, 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 all the stuff we just said. This is cool and mostly unexpected. I've been hearing for a long time, Killer Instinct, they want to do something with Killer Instinct. They want to do something with Killer Instinct. And then the other thing I would hear is there's no one to work on Killer Instinct. There is no studio available to do that. This goes back to Grubb Snacks. We talked about this. So this lines up with that exactly, because Iron Galaxy was busy working on Rumbleverse, still doing a lot of their work for higher business. I always heard Iron Galaxy way too busy. Well, Rumbleverse is no more, rip. It deserved better, but we're in a world where we don't get good things. So they had some more time, and it's not too surprising to me that with that extra time and resources, they're like, let's kind of go back to Killer Instinct. We know Microsoft wants to do something there. That's a sure thing. Let's just go for it. That sounds right?
Yeah, and I wonder, is Killer Instinct probably the most fondly thought of Xbox One exclusive at this point?
Yeah, maybe. It's up there.
Maybe Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, it's in that conversation for sure. And the people who like Killer Instinct really like Killer Instinct.
Turbo Sean, yeah.
Yes, they are. Yes, exactly. Turbo Sean. They are super horny for Killer Instinct. I get it. I've always enjoyed Killer Instinct, even back when it wasn't actually a very good game on in the arcades and the Super Nintendo originally. But the series got very cool over time, and then that Xbox game was actually surprisingly excellent. Iron Galaxy, took over the game after, I think Double Helix was the original developer. Iron Galaxy took it over, maintained it as a live service game with a lot of characters. It was always a free-to-play fighter. So they know this game, they know this series now really well. So them returning to it is, I think, a good sign of, well, let's do this 10 year anniversary update. That's cool. It'll be neat to get people back in there and excited about any of the changes and the improved visuals. But they're probably going to work on a Killer Instinct follow-up, you would expect, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think this is a case of them testing the water and seeing like, hey, how does this resonate, bringing a bit more attention to it again, and if people do come back to it and go like, oh no, like this is still really good, do they then say like, hey, what about a new project?
Yeah, I think it's definitely along those lines, right? Likely everyone involved knows a new project would work fine and they would go for it, and this is Iron Galaxy, Jesus. Iron Galaxy saying, let's kind of get our legs back underneath us in terms of developing this. Let's get people who are new to the studio who haven't worked on Killer Instinct before. Let's get them familiar with our process, and we could do that while also building up goodwill among the fan base and saying, we are still going to support that game that you love. Here's one more big update. And then guess what? After that comes out, we have an announcement. And it's like, oh, what is that going to be? They haven't confirmed any of that, but boy, that sounds like what's going to happen here. And Killer Instinct, was surprisingly popular too. Like it actually, not just well loved among people who like it. There's a lot of people who like Killer Instinct, so I think this is a good move.
It is super funny that like one of the also rans from the Mortal Kombat era, like literally just trying to imitate Mortal Kombat, has survived so long. It's like if like Fighter's History was still coming out and people are like, hey, Fighter's History is just as good as Street Fighter,
Fighter's History, which one was that? Is that the one that had Karnov?
I'm pretty sure that's the one they took to court.
Okay, that's right. That's
okay. This is too similar.
That is right. Okay. There was a lot of Mortal Kombat sort of clones at the time. I would like for many of them to come back. I'd be a big fan of what was
Primal
that?
Rage.
Yeah, well, yes, that'd be very good. I actually played Primal Rage. Was it Primal Rage 2, the one that never came out? I think I played the prototype arcade cabinet in Chicago, and that was very cool. And then, there was the one for Genesis that I can never remember. But either way, Darkstalkers should come back. That's not a clone. Sean, you wouldn't call that a Mortal Kombat clone, would you? I guess it's kind of dark and maybe a little bit more bloody than other Capcom games. I don't know. What were you going to say?
We'll probably get onto this, but a friend of mine, Scott McRae, who's way into the fighting game scene, him and me have always had the same idea, and I'm pretty sure like Jeff Gerstmann has also brought this up, but like they should totally just do Capcom versus Capcom at this point.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Have half the like roster be fighting game characters and have the other half of the roster be like other Capcom characters. Like they have the catalog to do it, and just make it in the style of Marvel vs. Capcom. Like if you can't get the license, just do it yourself, Capcom. You got the catalog.
Yep, exactly. And Eternal Champions is the one I was thinking of. Winship and Absby got that. Thank you so much. DJ T Money. Thank you all for that. I appreciate it. Okay, moving along here. Square Enix share price drops amid claims the Final Fantasy 16 didn't. Say the thing, Square Enix. Meet expectations. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Who do we blame this on? Yeah, we did it, everybody. Congratulations. Square Enix's share price in Japan has dropped by nearly 15% following the company's latest earnings release. The publisher reported its Q2 2023 earnings on Friday, during which it stated the revenue had increased around 14% year on year, but profits had dropped around 65%. When the Tokyo Stock Exchange closed on Friday, Square Enix's share price sat at about 6,366 yen. When it opened earlier today, however, that price had dropped to 5,566 yen and stayed around this figure throughout the day, dropping a little bit more. This is the lowest the company's share price has been since May 2022, and according to Bloomberg, it's the worst intraday drop in 3 years. Bloomberg also claims that one of the reasons for Square Enix's underwhelming financials is the launch of Final Fantasy 16. The publication cites 3 separate sources who attended Square Enix's post-earnings call, all of whom claimed President Takashi Kiryu said the game's initial sales, in Bloomberg's words, did not meet the high end of the company's expectations. Okay.
You got a B? You got a B in your maths exam? What are we sending you to school for?
Yeah, okay. Square, let me just there's only so many PlayStation 5s in the world. There's only so many. Homie, there's only so many PlayStation 5s in the world. What the fuck were you expecting? What is happening? Why do they do this every time?
The stat that's like really sticks out here is their revenue is up 14%, but their profits have dropped 65%. How much fucking money did they spend on the promotion for this game?
Oh, a lot.
That they racked up that much of a like rear end that they couldn't make back on. Like, Jesus Christ, what are they doing?
Okay, so Spider-Man 2 is coming out later this year. That is also PlayStation 5 exclusive. It probably is going to sell better than Final Fantasy 16. It's fucking Spider-Man. It sells better,
but it's not gonna sell as well as the first Spider-Man for quite a few years.
Exactly,
and it will eventually get there. But Sony are like probably well aware of that fact,
right? And yes, exactly. Like, it's not going to sell as fast as that original Spider-Man game. Yes, you're right. That's the point here. And so when you look at 3 million sold or whatever they said it was in the first week, whatever the time frame was, I mean, that sounds right. Like, the high end of expectations, that's clearly their way of like softening, saying it didn't meet their expectations. That's what they're actually trying to say. I don't know how much more you could have expected than 3 million. It's bizarre, but here we are. And this is Square Enix, and they do this every time. Well, they haven't done this with their Final Fantasy and Japanese games. Pretty much, they used to just do this to their Western studios, but they don't have those anymore. So now it's like, well, we gotta turn our ire to these other children of ours. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's like they can't blame, Crystal Dynamics, and they can't give out to Yuji Naka anymore. So they're like, who do we turn our anger on? Oh shit, the only people who are left are Final Fantasy. But like, the wild thing is, if you look at other PlayStation 5 exclusives, other games that have only released on the PlayStation 5, you have stuff like Returnal, you have Ratchet and Clank, and that's kind of about it. Like, those weren't selling that much more than 3 million.
Returnal, I bet, has only recently, if it has, surpassed 1 million. It was below 1 million through all those early years. Ratchet and Clank.
How many PS5s are in the wild?
Yeah, I mean, Ratchet and Clank isn't much more over 1 million either, I don't think. And Ratchet and Clank's a fantastic game, but it's Ratchet and Clank. I guess we can, maybe doesn't fit that well with the modern PlayStation audience, whatever. But those are the numbers we're talking about so far. There was twice as many PlayStation's 4s, maybe more than that, out in the world when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. This is selling about as fast as that, and we have now about 40 million PlayStation 5s. I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's weird. Now, let me ask you, do you think that them saying this, getting the reaction from investors, that they are going to rush out the PC version and try to get done faster than they originally thought?
Oh yeah, totally. Like, that seems like a total short-sighted move that Square would be way into, and they love their rushed PC ports. I wouldn't be like half surprised if they're like, it's an Epic Game Store exclusive, because they'd give us like a couple of $1 million just to have it there only, because they did that with Final Fantasy VII. Like, I could totally see a world where they go down that route again. I don't know. I think that game is really good. That game is really solid in a way that like previous Final Fantasy mainline games haven't been solid. Like, it's a game that I'm perfectly happy to look at and go, there are loads of like glaring errors here. Like, the way it writes women is super fucked up. Some of its pacing isn't great, but like, I still enjoy the moment-to-moment combat so much, and like, it really does feel like a soft reboot of the series in a new direction that I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with next. But like, you can't completely change a genre of a game, change the style of a game, change everything about the like franchise, and then expect it to like outsell a game that came out previously that was on a console with more like consoles in the wild. I don't know where the expectation even came from. Who is crunching their numbers that they even thought that it would be selling more than this?
Yeah, it's there was a glory days for Final Fantasy more than 20 years ago now, I think. And it's still popular. It's still huge. It's still beloved. I mean, you could just look at the reaction to Final Fantasy 16 and the infighting among fans. Like, that doesn't happen unless you're one of these top franchises where everything is the worst thing and everything's the best thing. It doesn't happen on that scale, I suppose. Listen, there's message boards for every game, but it's not. It is not Spider-Man. It's not even Zelda. It hasn't had like these. It has not had this continuous growth that some of these other franchises have had.
Persona.
Yeah, Persona. Yeah.
At this point, it's a RPG that has like its niche, and like not everyone's gonna jump on it, but like it's a dedicated fan base, and it's might be growing, it might be shrinking. You can argue about it, whatever, but it's not the biggest game in the world anymore. And there are casual gamers who do really like Final Fantasy in a way they don't like other games because of the nostalgia factor. But like that, you can't bank on that entirely.
Yep. And really, I think it comes down to this. The simple thing here is they should be excited about how well it's selling, because I think this is a strong jumping off point. You can put it on PC. Maybe it probably can't come to Xbox for a very long time, but it can come to PC. Maybe it comes to the next Switch. That might be possible. Who knows what the contract looks like with Sony. And then Final Fantasy 17, I think, is only going to be bigger. Now it's not going to be Spider-Man still, but it is probably still going to be even bigger. I think this is a good way to, like, they are well on their way to winning over that more mainstream audience I think they were going for. And I think the next time there's a Final Fantasy game, they're going to be able to build on that. But that is steady growth, and they clearly are not interested in that. That's not what they were going for. They were looking for a grand slam home run right now, and it's not that, but it's still it's still a home run. I think it's just not, you're not batting in 3 runs. Just chill.
The base is loaded,
yes,
and they're acting like they lost the game.
Yep, it's again, like Sean says, 7 and 15 are the only ones that really took off the mainstream. 15 had the benefit of being on everything and being like this exciting first Final Fantasy, like that's HD, I think, right? Because 14 was this weird thing. Yes. No, I guess 13 was HD. But yeah, it's still like the 15 was on everything, got everybody excited, and people showed up for that. I don't know. I think that this just comes down to Square Enix's expectations. Everyone knows this story. Here it is again. All right, so Evo had a bunch of announcements over the weekend. We're going to do the big reveals. We're going to separate these headlines out, discuss each one, and then we'll get to a few extra headlines. All these come from Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Shout out to Michael. Evo 2023, aka the Evolution Championship Series, brought the best of the best fighting game players to Las Vegas this past weekend for a 3-day tournament. This year's Evo was the biggest yet, with nearly 15,000 registrants and Turbo Sean competing across the 8 games featured in its main competition. More than 7,000 players duked it out in Street Fighter VI alone. On top of being the preeminent fighting game tournament, Evo 2023 has also become a major news event. Publishers and developers like Capcom, Bandai Namco, NetherRealm Studios, and Arc System Works dropped new game reveals, character announcements, and release dates at Evo, starting with Mortal Kombat 1, Reptile, and more. After much teasing from Mortal Kombat co-creator Ed Boon, NetherRealm confirmed that Reptile is headed to Mortal Kombat 1. He'll be joined by 3D era fighters Havoc and Ashtray? No, Ashra. I read that as Ashtray. My brain went first, and I'm like, that can't be right. Ashra. Both of whom have been reimagined for Mortal Kombat 1's reset timeline. A new gameplay trailer revealed more cameo fighters in action, including a relatively deep cut from the 3D era, Serena. I have a little bit here. I'll bring this up and let this play a little bit. This is a cool thing because Reptile is human form Reptile, which I've always preferred over Lizard Man Reptile. Do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I can't believe they did it. They finally made Reptile hot.
They made him hot. Yeah, exactly. That's what we had been waiting for. I'm a big fan of this. He looks great. Obviously he can turn into a lizard man, like that's his whole thing. They make a big deal out of it, and then here's some of these other characters. I'm excited about this. I think that Mortal Kombat 1 is still actually one of my most anticipated games right now. I really enjoyed what I played at SGF. My understanding is, though, the fighting game scene is a little bit more hesitant about this game. They're not sure about how fast it plays and all that stuff. But I'm like, the blood is goopy. And the characters are all really hot. It's cool. I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, as a non-fighting game person, I look at all the Mortal Kombats as like, I know that the 3D ones are bad, and like I look at 9, 10, and 11 as all similarly equal, and I really do just look at them, like, enjoy them for the story, which you need to get onto that playthrough of all of them, because I haven't seen much of the story of 11.
I think I'm going to start today, actually. I'm going to start today, and I'll be in this room. If you want to hop in at any point, feel free. We'll play some of that. It'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to this. Human reptile is the thing for me. I like all the ninjas, but that green costume ninja was always great. I think that's going to be the poll question today, by the way, everybody. We're going to ask, what do you prefer? Do you prefer lizard man reptile or human reptile? I expect human supremacy to reign once again, Lexi.
You're massively underestimating how many people have a thing for reptiles on the internet.
I'll be happy to find out. Let's find out firsthand. Let's see what happens. Street Fighter 6 is getting Aki and the Ninja Turtles. Capcom released the first add-on character. Actually, let me just get this video going right now. Let me loop it too. Capcom released the first add-on character for Street Fighter 6, Rashid, in July, just ahead of EVO 2023. We already know who's next. Newcomer Aki, who is slated for release sometime this fall. Beyond the mysterious Chinese fighter, Ed from Street Fighter 5 is set to return this winter, with venerable World Warrior Akuma pegged for spring 2024 release. Yeah, he loves to be pegged in spring 2024. On Friday, Capcom gave fans a morsel of news, showing off new costumes for Street Fighter 6 characters: Guile, Marissa, DJ, and Yuri. I got these here. There they are. I saw fan art of
the Jury costume before I actually saw the Jury costume.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Quick.
Yep. Oh my God, Jerry, Jesus. Yep. That's the stuff right there, man. Okay, DJ's costume is fantastic. That looks great.
They've gotten really good at creating character art for women that I would let beat the shit out of me.
Yes, exactly.
They've gotten really good at it.
Oh man, Guile looks like a real dirtbag. I love it. Onesie Jury is everywhere online. Yeah, that sounds right. This looks like the kind of thing that was already on DeviantArt.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They know who plays their game.
I'm excited about this stuff. There's also, let's see here, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff. Let's see, on Friday, where do I have this? As part of the crossover, on Sunday, Capcom teased Aki, but did not show any of her gameplay. And in a far more unexpected move, Capcom revealed a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collaboration for Street Fighter 6. As part of the crossover, players will be able to get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed gear, emotes, titles, stamps, and in-game device wallpapers, along with camera frames in photo mode. Additionally, they'll have the option to dress up their custom avatar in Street Fighter 6 World Tour and Battle Hub as Donatello, Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael. You should be able to do that and then go out and carol and sing some Christmas carols. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Christmas carols. Yeah. Mike, you could finally make your dreams come true in Street Fighter. Congratulations. This is cool. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are cool, Lexi. I don't know. It feels like one of those things that obviously it's popular again. It's popular when I was a kid. Did it skip you, or did you guys get any TMT love when you were a kid?
No, so it was popular when I was a kid because we got all of the American TV shows 10 years later.
Okay, fantastic. So we like the same thing.
Yeah, so I got a bunch of TMNT stuff, and I really dug it. But we didn't get them in order, and sometimes they were only in the Irish language channel. So for me, Donatello has a thick Kerry accent, and I can't understand him any other way.
That's fair. I like that a lot. That's really fun.
It's even weirder when it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're like, this feels racist.
Well, yeah, that's gonna happen. All right, another one here. Tekken 8 Raven and newcomer Azucena, A-Z-U-C. I'm gonna say Azucena. All right, let's play this. Bandai Namco has said plenty about Tekken 8, confirming 16 fighters for the game's roster and recently holding a closed network test. We're still waiting on a release date for Tekken 8, but the developers officially added 2 more to the roster on Sunday. Raven, who made his debut in Tekken 5, and newcomer Azucena Milagros Ortiz Castillo, a.k.a. the Peruvian Coffee Queen. Let's fucking go.
She's just like me. She's just like me for real.
Let's go. Azucena's fighting style is based on mixed martial arts techniques, according to Tekken 8 director Kohei Aikida. Her signature move is the Libertador, a pose that provokes the opponent, Aikida said on the PlayStation blog. She shifts into a stance where she can no longer block, but instead instinctively detects and dodges her opponent's high and low attacks. This special stance and her movement allows her to keep her opponents from gaining momentum. The Libertador pose becomes even more powerful in heat state, whereas Cena automatically launches a counterattack after dodging an attack, putting more pressure on her opponent. I lived my entire life in heat state. I don't know about you.
I know some dogs that are like that too, but you know.
Yeah, it's a real problem. Yeah. Just humping legs at SGF. Yeah. Everyone got real mad at me. Yeah. Oh,
I have to say, watching the top 6 of Evo, I watched a fair bit of it last night. I was up too late, and I woke up early as well for the Street Fighter stuff. But Tekken is still like maybe the most watchable esport around, because it's just like, it is basically UFC. It is flashy UFC, and it's very easy to understand, even if you don't know how they're doing the shit. It reads more as a real sport than like any other fighting game, because there's that slight 3D element to it.
Yep.
So I love competitive Tekken, just watching the high level stuff. I'm fucking awful at it. I am terrible at Tekken. But it's also the one that I would try to get into the most.
Like, I think I am remembering spending some time with Tekken 7, and it feels like 2 years ago. But that game is way older than that, right? And I'm like
2016, 2017 or something.
Man, that's bananas. So we're overdue. Tekken 8's coming. I think people are getting very excited for it. Like you said, and I agree with everything. It is so flashy and pretty and makes it so much fun to watch. And it is feels like the one real 3D fighting game standing, not 3D Arena Fighter and not 2D fighting game with 3D visuals. There's others.
Soul Calibur's upset with you now.
But Soul Calibur as much of a going concern as Tekken. It's not. I wish it was, but it's not. They've had their attempts. They did, like, what was the last one? Like a free-to-play one that felt like a re-release of a previous game. I can't remember exactly. I would love for Soul Calibur to be back, but Tekken is the one, and I'm glad for that. I really have had a lot of good times with Tekken, so I'll be getting into this one.
Sega should do a Yakuza fighting game in the style of Tekken, and it's just all the characters from Yakuza. That would be fucking incredible.
Just take the Virtua Fighter engine and put Kiryu in it, and let's fucking go.
They already did that as DLC for Virtua Fighter 5 on the PS5 when they brought it to the PS5.
That's right. Here's Azucena. Yeah, there you go. That's very good. Okay, let's see. There's a few more headlines here from Evo, including Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is re-revealed. The game formerly known as Garou 2? Garou? How do you say it?
Mark of the Wolves, Garou, I think.
Yeah, Garou. There we go. Garou 2 is now called Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. SNK announced at Evo. The King of Fighters developers showed off some in-game visuals confirming a cel-shaded look for characters Rock Howard and Terry Bogard, and potentially teasing a few others by highlighting various locations. SNK said Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is furiously in development, but did not reveal platforms or release timing for its next fighting game. I'm glad that they, even if it is still ways off, I'm glad that they reconfirmed it like this and say, hey, we're still working on it. Here's like the official name where this is like really actually happening. I'm excited about this. I always like to see other, listen, I love the Street Fighters, the King of Fighters. I like it best when these fighting game studios are also dipping into their secondary and tertiary franchises. Like Deshaun said, bring back Darkstalkers, obviously. But Mark of the Wolves coming back is also something that is fantastic for SNK.
Yeah, this game is... I think the Fatal Fury stuff has always just been like the coolest shit. Like everyone in that series just seems like the most badass motherfucker around. I really appreciate the art style. I think it could have been easy for them just to redo the King of Fighters art style again. Now that they've sort of... because they do so many of those King of Fighters games, but trying to do something new, and like you're never going to be able to live up to the, pixel art of those originals because they're just so incredible. So yeah, this seems like the most the play. This seems like the smart move.
Do you think so? Yeah, no, Sean points out, Chad, Garou is a Fatal Fury game. Yeah, it was always in that universe. But do you think that the Fatal Fury name like they went with that because they feel like, oh, Terry Bogard got some shine from Smash.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what happened, right?
Yeah, and it was either that or the Fatal Fury game that they made where they like gender swapped all the characters and it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, God, we were just talking about that name and that game, and now I can't remember what it was called again.
They gave Skullomania boobs. The only good thing about that game was the special edition hash that I've always wanted to buy that says Fatal Cutie on it.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
fantastic.
That's a good hat. Yeah, SNK Heroines, that's it.
Yeah, SNK Heroines, and they did apparently they did one for the Neo Geo Pocket or something back in the day called like Gal Fighters or something, and it was pretty similar. Well, not similar, but it had the same idea. Okay, other Evo headlines: Guilty Gear Strive adds Johnny, Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl 2 adds Plankton, Project L's new champion is Yasuo, which I think is like one of the obvious ones that was always going to come, but people, now it's confirmed for Project L. And then Under Night In Birth 2 Sis Celis was announced. I know that there are a lot of Under Night fans out there in the world, but that is just a fucked up name. It's such a bizarre name, but hey, what can you do about it? Evo seemed pretty successful, like always. It seemed like a good time. People really enjoyed themselves, and I think these news headlines, I'm glad that Evo presents a chance for the fighting game fans to like get their news all in one place. It was a pretty cool thing.
It felt bigger this year, probably because they had, a year or two back from the COVID stuff, and like it just felt like everyone had news which makes sense because there's fighting games coming out again all of a sudden.
Yep, absolutely. All right, couple more stories here. Assassin's Creed, Fallout, and Final Fantasy are coming to Magic the Gathering. This is from Jason Finelli at GameSpot. With half of 2023 behind us, Wizards of the Coast took the opportunity to announce the future of Magic the Gathering at its Gen Con 2023 panel. However, not only did the company reveal their plans through 2026, but it also confirmed 3 huge names in gaming for its ever-growing Universes Beyond portfolio: Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy, and Fallout. Fallout will receive the Magic the Gathering treatment first, and it will be represented through a set of Commander decks set to release in March 2024. Following names like Warhammer 40k and Doctor Who, the Fallout Commander decks will feature a mixture of brand new and reprinted cards, all featuring characters, enemies, factions, and locations from Bethesda's post-apocalyptic saga. Assassin's Creed will come next as a full booster set spanning the entire Assassin's Creed universe, and it will launch in July 2024. The set will include both new and reprinted cards, all featuring Assassin's Creed artwork. And then the last of the 3 video game-centric announcements, Square Enix's massive RPG franchise Final Fantasy will receive a full booster set expansion in 2025, with cards that will span the entirety of the mainline Final Fantasy franchise, from the original game to the recently launched Final Fantasy XVI. The set will also be available for digital Magic the Gathering players via Magic the Gathering Arena. People love these things, I think. Well, I don't know if they love it, but people collect them. That's for sure. Post Malone is going to show up your goddamn house and take all your Magic the Gathering cards. He'll give you money. He will. Yeah. But he's still going to show up your house. You didn't invite him.
They're going to do a special event where there's only one 3-dog card, and Post Malone's going to buy it.
Hell yes.
I do sometimes feel like a fake trans person because I don't like Sonic, and that has me on thin ice.
Yeah.
I don't like Magic the Gathering, which like they really are. The committee really isn't okay with that. So like, if I say anything bad about Fallout New Vegas, I'm out of the club.
You just sound confused. It's a phase. You'll come around to Sonic and Magic the Gathering eventually. That's what's going to happen. It happens to everybody. That. It is always like when you're in like a group of like friends and you like everything, and you're pretty similar. And then there's like that one thing that they all get into, and you're like, "This is stupid, guys. I don't like any of this."
Yeah. I had a great conversation when I interviewed Josh Sawyer. I tried to get this turned into an article, but I could never get it picked up. I said to him like, "Are you like aware that like Fallout New Vegas is like kind of big in like the trans community and like there's a weird following around it, like that and Bloodborne?" And he was like, "Yeah, like there was no like, it wasn't like we were sending out a signal or anything." I was like, "Wait, what were those radio signals for? Was that not one of the DLC radio signals?"
Josh Sawyer's a homie. I like that guy.
He's so great. He's lovely.
That's fantastic. I think that this is fun. Oh, there it is.
I needed to pop in.
Yes, please.
Whoever runs MTG Magic the Gathering specifically has it out for me. because they managed to get me into Lord of the Rings. And God damn it, now they're going after Doctor Who. This is the one thing I've been trying to hide on this website of how much of a Who I am.
What, really?
Yes, we don't need to get into it. Do I have 2 costumes of the 4th Doctor and the 11th Doctor? We don't need to get into it.
Oh, I think we do.
Yeah, and you used to wear bow ties, right? I remember this being revealed once. You wore the bow tie for a while.
Yes, exactly. I need to leave.
Yeah.
That was Jan Ochoa from Giant Bomb, everybody. Jan, thank you. I have always been Doctor Who curious. I've never really given it a shot.
The seasons that are worth watching are the Christopher Eccleston one, because he's northern and it's great.
Really? Why would you say that you're curious about Doctor Who?
I've always been like, it's sci-fi and it looks cheesy and I like that stuff, so I should give it a chance. And then I'm like,
No.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hey, I also want to use this platform. BBC, please get in contact with me, because I still have the Doctor Who Instagram handle, and I'm tired of people DMing me literally every single day trying to get this account. BBC, get at me.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, how does he have why does he have the
No,
handle?
that makes sense.
Of course
No,
it makes. You know what? You're right. Never mind. Why am I asking questions? Of course he has that. That should just. Can we redirect that to John? No, never mind. Okay. Next story. John Cena joins Overwatch 2 as the Enigma. I don't know. I guess I don't get it either. From Jess Howard at GameSpot. Contrary to his iconic tagline, you can now see John Cena in Overwatch 2. After a week of teases leaked during popular streamers such as Shroud, Emong, other popular streamers whose names are impossible to pronounce, Blizzard has revealed that the wrestler turned actor is joining the game as the Enigma, a mysterious figure seemingly aiding Overwatch's heroic efforts. Blizzard shared the news in a brief trailer showcasing Cena's Enigma. In the video, the Enigma is seen hunched over a computer working in the shadows as he observes Omnic uprisings emerge in Rio, Gothenburg, and Toronto. The Enigma then begins a transmission to the former agents of Overwatch, alerting them to these invasions before stating, "Answer the call, heroes. It's time to fight back." That's my John Cena voice. After sending the message, he removes his hood, revealing not an animated character, but actual human being John Cena. I don't really fully understand what's going on here, Lexi. Why is John Cena? Is this just like, he does Honda commercials and now he does this?
Sorry, I was thinking about the heat death of the universe.
That's fair. I mean, listen, what other options do you have? It's either think about John Cena or heat death of the universe.
I'm a long-suffering Overwatch League fan, and the thing that you need to know about Overwatch in its current state is a lot of the game is born from the esports side of things. A lot of the community rallies around that, a lot of the conversation and around balancing is around the highest level of balancing, and that has affected the game in so many negative ways, to the point that I think everyone over there working on that game is just a little bit esports pilled, if that makes any sense. And stuff like this, it's still 2017 in their head. They're still getting DJ Khaled to perform at the Overwatch League finals. There's still that weird feel of I don't know, maybe esports is the way forward as they continually defund it. I don't know, Overwatch is a fucking mess, man.
Can you this next part here? This is actually pretty amazing that how fans figured out that John Cena was going to be in the game. Though Cena's inclusion is certainly a bit surprising. This is the first time Blizzard has added a real life figure to Overwatch. Particularly sleuthy fans predicted he'd be coming to the game thanks to some serious detective work. Last week, a Reddit user shared a clip from one of Emong's recent streams, noting that the code was in the font family Felix Anthony, which are John Cena's middle names. What? First of all, John Cena's middle names are Felix Anthony. Second, there's a font family called Felix Anthony, like John Cena's middle names. What is happening? How does that work out? Is John Cena secretly out there just doing font work, doing typeface? I wouldn't actually be too surprised by that.
The extra funny thing about this is they say that it's the first time that a real person has been added to Overwatch, but they used to, at the end of every season, add the league's MVP as a skin. They'd name a skin after them and they'd add them to it. They had to stop doing that and change the names of the previous skins because one of them turned out to be very problematic.
Yeah, that's how it always goes, isn't it?
And it was one of the guys who was on Jimmy Fallon.
Of course.
Yeah.
So is he going to be playable? Because I think
No.
he's just like introducing new like PvE kind of stuff, right? Like new missions you can do with friends.
Yeah, he'll probably be an announcer for whatever like their pared down PvE stuff is, which from what I gather is just new remixes. New versions of their previous stuff. What are they doing? I don't know. I mean,
you know what? The energy here is very much 2018 mobile games Super Bowl ad with supermodel getting into a bath of milk saying, "Come play with me, Lord." It's like, hey, we are well past the point where we are going to have actual exciting stuff. So what is an effective marketing campaign? What is a cost-effective way to acquire new users? That's where they're at. And celebrity endorsements are one of those things that these companies have turned to when they are well past like, oh, well, the thing's just exciting. It's attracting new users on its own. Well, no, now it's like it's weird little ads with superstars in it. So that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, who do you think John Cena plays in Overwatch? Which character?
I mean, listen, he definitely Soldier 76, but I think he occasionally dabbles with like what's the little hamster guy?
Hammond?
Yeah, he dabbles in Hammond.
Wrecking Ball. Yeah, Wrecking Ball. Yeah. Turbo Sean says Sombra. Yeah, that. Yeah, I could see that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that's gonna do it for the news. Let's get to the poll question. Excuse me, I have that right over here somewhere from Friday. There we go. Get that back up. Are you checking out Baldur's Gate 3? 16% said yes, I love the previous Baldur Gates. 20% said yes, I am a D&D fan. 25% said yes, I want to romance a bear. 40% said no. That is 60% saying yes. That might explain how the game got 800,000 concurrent players over the weekend. This game's inconceivably huge. Okay. Final Fantasy.
For what it is incredibly big.
It seems like it. I mean, it's kind of big, period, right? Because like that's 800,000 concurrent players. That puts it in the top 10 most played game on Steam at any one time. It's like number 9, I think, on that list. That makes it bigger than every other game except for those 8 other games, many of which are like the biggest multiplayer games and some of the biggest releases ever. This is now one of the biggest releases on Steam ever. Like it just is. And it's hard to, this is a hit-driven business. It's really hard to pick and choose what's going to be a hit. And when you're in that business of like, let's build the next hit, you get really risk adverse. I get that. But clearly, so many of these publishers have to be kicking themselves right now, right? They just got to be like, how did we not see the thirst for something like Baldur's Gate 3 out there? How did we not like predict that? And then, I think over at Square Enix, they're like, how are we not capturing that same level of excitement? And so, well, I mean, I think there's probably some reasons if we dissect it, but I mean, does anything jump to mind? Like, why is Baldur's Gate 3 so popular?
I think a lot of developers and publishers probably have identified that, like, oh shit, D&D would be a huge market to tap into, but also have gone trying to create a experience that feels organically and free-flowingly like D&D, where, like, shit can just go wrong and the game continues. Like, it is that game is a really good DM. And that's all it is. It's really good at flowing with the punches and saying like, okay, let's keep going. And like other publishers were probably just like, that's fucking hard to do. Like that is an incredible ask. And when you look at how long that game has been in development, like 3 years in early access, God knows how long before that, pre-early access, like it was a big swing and it took a lot of resources to get there. So like I'd say a lot of developers and publishers are just like, that is such a big commitment that if it didn't hit, it would actually be disastrous.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a combination of things. Zombie Pie in chat's like mentioning that People, the CRPGs have been growing steadily, and people have been getting excited, like Divinity Original Sin and a bunch of others prime the pump. And I think that's true. Like that like it's been building from that side of things. I think obviously the excitement around Dungeons and Dragons has been building from the other side. And I think I think a lot of people listen to real play podcasts. Millions of people do. Like that's reality. And then I think they want a safe way to tell their own stories. And Baldur's Gate 3 is just like, hey, here is exactly
a lot
that.
of people are like me, where they can't find a group. They can't find a DM, or they can find a group. They have a bunch of people that want to play D&D, but they can't find someone who feels confident in being a DM. And having a game be that DM for you really like allows you to actually just play D&D in a way that feels like you can't otherwise. And I just want to make sure, chat, nobody tell me that I can't fix Shadowheart. I'm gonna fix her. I can fix her.
Absolutely. That's what was the racist lady from Mass Effect? I can fix Ashley. Look out, everybody.
No one can fix Ashley.
All right. We got a new poll question we'll get up here in a second. But before we do that, Lexi, where can people find you? What do you have going on? All that good stuff. I think there's a podcast episode that you put out recently that I'm on. Tell people about all the good things.
So you can find me on Start Menu. I run that website at the Start Menu. It's a website for young and upcoming journalists to have a safe space to get their work shown, work with an editor, find opportunities. You can also check out the podcast episode that me and Jeff and two of other Start Menu regulars did, where we talked about working games conventions and what it's like working a games convention compared to attending one as a member of the public. You can find some of my writing in Play Magazine. I think one of the ones I can talk about now is, I think it's the next issue is going to have an exclusive interview with Andrew Scholdice, the creator of Tunic, and that was really fucking cool. He's a great interview, and there's some never seen before screenshots of some early versions of that game that people might find interesting in there. I also have a retrospective on a game that people might be interested in, considering it's tied to this website. And I'll also be at Gamescom. If any editors are listening, I have a bunch of really nice previews lined up, and I don't have anyone booked for me to write about them. So pay me to write about them.
Oh, yeah. All right. Lexi, thank you so much for coming on today. The new poll here, it's simple. It's reptile, ? And then you can either vote for human or lizard. That'll be up on youtube.com.
That was not where I was convinced it was going to be, like, smash or pass.
Well, I mean, I think that's inherently, but no, I would smash the lizard. Listen, we have plenty of time this week to come up with other questions. Reptile, smash or pass. That's just in our hearts at all times. Lexi, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a fun episode.
It was a good time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Giant Bomb. We'll be back with Game Mess Mornings on Wednesday. We got the Bombcast tomorrow. I'm going to be playing some Mortal Kombat on this site. I think a little bit later today, I'm going to be doing the first one of those. And the idea is to play through the stories of 9, 10, and 11 before Mortal Kombat 1 comes out. So I'm going to start that with 9 today.
What time are you doing that? Because I might swing by.
I think I'll be on 2 p.m. Eastern-ish, maybe 2:30, because we've got a meeting and I got to eat and all this stuff. But we'll put it on Twitter when we're going live, everybody, and I'll just be hanging out in this room. So if any friends of the site are watching, you want to bump in, just let me know. You could just kind of hang out and play through that a little bit. Okay, you're the best audience in gaming. You just are. We're going to get out of here. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
It's a messy morning.